Wakistan, a map that I feel some hate while others love. Regardless of your opinions on it, it always provides an incredible opportunity to flank. Along the bridge leading from B to C to D, some of the biggest and greatest stalemates between teams can happen on this bridge, and exploiting that phenomenon can lead to incredible moments. Hence, today we'll be exploring the best ways to flank enemies on the Wakistan bridge. First, you gotta know the different routes you can take to get to this bridge. I think the more routes you understand that are possible to take, the better chance you have at finding a path that not a lot of people are watching, so you can flank. So here's what's possible when you're attacking B, C, D, and the bridge. You can, from both spawns, travel by boat to C or to the bridge. From both B and D, you can travel under the bridge and either onto the bridge from there or into C and then onto the bridge. You can travel from the direction of the F objective into the valley in front of the hill on which C is on, and then from there attack C or the bridge. It also works to take the bridge from C to attack B or D. Of course, you can always get to any easy objectives via a vehicle, but those are greater targets sometimes. And finally, there are some lesser known paths on C itself that can help you circumvent the objective if there's enemies on it, or just get to either bridge. B and D should not be forgotten as flankable objectives as well, for there are many ways to surprise the enemies on those objectives, such as flanking from underneath the bridge and jumping onto the crates that a lot of snipers like to snipe from. Alright, so now that you know the possible paths you can take to C and the bridges, what you now need to do is correctly identify where the biggest mass of enemies are along these routes. And Wakistan is probably the easiest map to do this on compared to any other map in BattleBit. This is because that bridge atmosphere produces massive firefights, so it's really clear when you're looking at the map where your enemies are dying, where they're being held up. It's just super easy to identify. And generally, Wakistan games have two types of flows that usually occur. Either you get a stalemate game in which each objective has the possibility of hosting a massive bashing of heads between the two teams, or you get a carousel game where the two teams kind of endlessly follow each other, capturing every objective along the bridge, and then they just kind of circle around. So it'll go like A, B, C, D, E. And since the dominating team's on the other side of the map, the opposing team starts to capture those same objectives in that same order. So since it's both so easy to identify what behavior is going on in the game and also identify where the firefight is happening, it should be really easy to identify where you need to flank. Finally, my last piece of advice would be to always carry a grappling hook with you. This is because the bridge is super tall and the hills on which the objectives are on are super tall, so that grappling hook can really help you get you around when you need to flank. So now what I want to do is provide you guys with the most successful strategy that I have found in my experiences. And this is admittedly something I thought wouldn't work. I just thought there were too many things that would prevent this from working. It seemed kind of stupid, honestly. Nevertheless, what you want is the enemy team to have pushed to either B or D. It doesn't really matter what the perspective is, you just want those guys on the bridge. And then what you want to do is safely get yourself on the side of the bridge, on that walkway. You can do this in any fashion. You can go off the cliff and go up the under pathway of the bridge. You can just jump straight from B or D onto that walkway. You can try to get all the way to C and then come back, though sometimes that doesn't work. But no matter how you get there, once you're on that path, you're gonna walk along the bridge until you can hear the enemy team, whether it's their footsteps or their voices or something else. Once you hear them, that's when you know it's time to deploy the grappling hook and climb on up. And I know this sounds crazy because there's so many factors that you would think that would stop you from doing that, like snipers from other objectives or other cliff sides or just the back of the bridge, or things that don't involve snipers like explosives or vehicles. I can't really offer you any counter evidence as to why those things wouldn't get you. All I know is that this method works for me the most. I think one hypothesis that I might have is that the snipers in the back just get lazy and they're either not scoped on you or they just don't care about you. And obviously, like with any method, you're gonna get caught a couple times, but that's what makes this flank great, is that you can get back to these areas really quickly if you have squad members that are hanging around B or D. And since these areas are designed to be choke points, if you have a considerable amount of people on both sides, that fight's gonna last a while. But even if I can't figure out why this works so well, what I hope this video does is provide you with the means to make great flanks yourself. And if you want more videos like this, please like and comment and tell me a particular map if you have any in mind. Anyways, thanks for watching.
How is bro seeing me?